content, that's all we're really after at the end of the day, and in the middle of the day, and in the beginning of the day. If you don't wake up and fry your brain with 45 to 95 minutes of content every day, I feel like you're missing out. Your synapses are too intact if you don't start your day like that.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to cut that out, but I am going to do the silly little intro anyway, which is normally where things would start. But we really need that introduction to this.
Great.
Hello, one and all, and welcome back to another thrilling episode of Off the Dome. I'm your humble interviewer, Jordan Brown, and with me for the very first time is our polished patience. Say hi, polished patience.
Hi.
Cassie, thank you so much for joining me. This is so exciting. The Bitcherton Kickstarter is live as of this very moment. I'm going to hit refresh. You are at $5,000. It's not $426 towards the $30,000 goal, and it's day one, which feels like a good number. I don't know. I don't know how Kickstarters work. I've never done one. I've backed a bunch of them.
I think I did one many years ago, but it was a very different project, and I just remember being really stressed about not making all the money. But it was in a different place in life, and it was funding a musical, so it was very, very different. So this does feel good for day one.
Yeah. I tried to Google, what's a good percentage to make on day one? And the answers seemed to be between 10 and 50%. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, you cleared one of those easy. You got to 10.
It's a helpful range for sure. Yeah, thank you for being so specific, Google, on that one.
On day one, you want to either have some or all of the money made.
Right.
It's
not none. That's what we do know. But besides that, it's open to interpretation, probably.
Yeah, but it's been up for I don't know, a couple of hours.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when it launched. I got the email
so far.
I backed it. I did my due diligence.
Oh, thank you. I didn't, but I'm in it, so I don't have to back it.
Yeah, I mean, the money would just go back to you.
Right,
so.
I'm paying myself. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Right, that would just be a mistake on your part. Mm-hmm. I would love to ask you, starting right off the bat, are Australians still mad at you?
I feel that they will never calm down. No, I feel that Australians aren't actually the ones who get mad at me. It's more like other people on behalf of Australians and Kiwis, New Zealanders, because they're like, that's Kiwi, that's not Australian. And I'm like, hey guys, I know, keep commenting. I want the engagement. I never claimed to be good at any accent. I just do them and I try. And then people will be like, that's not Australian. But I actually do have an Australian friend who says my accent is actually pretty good. So because I have that one person, I'm keeping that in my pocket forever. And that means more than all of the online comments, I feel. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I very much feel you. Yeah. I routinely post videos where people are I watch people have a fight amongst themselves in the comments. And I'm like, well, I could step in and stop this.
Why?
Or
why bother?
I could just let the algorithm work its magic.
Exactly.
I will say, I showed my wife prior to this chat your song about changing your outdoor clothes for when you are inside, and she thinks she could spend a full hour talking to you just about that. She is a huge advocate of outdoor clothes not touching any surface in our house.
It is something I feel pretty strongly about, especially living in New York. When I'm riding the subway, you think I'm walking into my house and lying on my bed in those same pants, you are sorely mistaken. Even it doesn't matter, even if I'm sitting on a city bike, how many other butts have been on that chair that day? I don't know, and I don't want to think about it. And if I think about it too much, I start spiraling. So I feel like it's a good way to stop the spiral is to just change into your cozy clothes. If you're coming home, you're hanging out, especially if you're getting on your bed. I really can't handle that at all.
Yeah. I'm midday. If I'm gonna go take a nap, I have to nap on top of the comforter because I'm not allowed in the sheets in day clothes.
I actually do have kind of a top blanket on my bed, which is right behind me. And that's kind of safe zone to maybe I'm have to put something on my bed for a second, and that blanket is very washable, and so it's more washable than the comforter per se. So that's a safe zone blanket. I'm really glad that we're getting into the meat, into the really important stuff real so quick.
Yeah.
Feels good. Feels good to hit the hard-hitting questions.
The important things. Look,
gate.
you have no idea who I am, so I'm just going to
literally no. Please.
Yeah. I'm confident Brian just sent you an email that was like, hey, do this thing. And you said, okay.
Yeah, pretty much. But you seem nice to me so far, so that's good.
Yeah. Victory.
Yeah.
Do you want me to explain who I am? Or
sure.
just like keep... Okay.
Yeah, tell me.
I'm just like a real dummy on the internet who mostly talks to Dropout people, which is how I got connected to the podcast because of so many Dropout people.
Yeah. And then me.
And
it's
that's
like them
it.
and now here. So are you
It is wild that you haven't been on Make Some Noise. I will say that. Like
the amount of credits that I do not have is actually kind of shocking. I've been on TV once, but it was almost like a bit. It was very recently. The Today Show put one of my TikToks on it for like 10 seconds. And the only people who watch the Today Show are like my parents' friends. So like that wasn't very a hard-hitting credit. And so I'm like, is someone gonna like put me in or on something soon? So if anyone out there wants to put me on TV, put me on your show, book me on your live show, I'm open. I'd love to do whatever it is. So yes, I agree that it's crazy.
Sam Reich, put Cassie on Make Some Noise, season 4. Make it happen.
Yep.
And then I can count you as a Dropout employee that I've talked to. I'm at 38. I talked to Reka this morning.
That is so many.
It's so many.
I didn't know there were that many. That's great.
There's so many. Reka, one of your guest stars coming soon to Bitcherton. Obviously, knock on wood. Reka and Teo have both been announced. Brian read the list to me, and I don't remember any of them except for one. And it was a person who was on Veep.
Sure.
And I'm trying not to give it away.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I won't give it away either.
Yeah. And
unless I'm supposed to, but probably I won't.
I don't know.
Okay, then I won't. But yeah, very funny person.
Yeah, a very funny person. And Brian said that name and then said like 3 more names after it. And I don't remember the names he said after it because my brain went, wow, that's really cool. And then like
you'll just have to watch the recording back in order to figure it out.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
No.
That's
too
work.
Obvious. Yep.
So also there was when we were off because he didn't want to like make the announcement yet. So
sure,
I'll never know who he told me.
Me neither. There's no way of finding out. Ever.
There's no way of finding out. You definitely don't have the list anyway.
For sure, no. I don't know what's going on. People just email me links and I join them, and that's my vibe.
Which is how this happened.
Correct.
This is the exact energy that I was hoping for at 5:30 your time, 4:30 my time. Yeah. I will say the first time I tried to schedule this interview, I immediately fucked up and subtracted 2 hours from Eastern to Central, which is not the correct number of hours to do that.
But then we're even because then I had to reschedule like 20 minutes ahead. It's because I was in therapy and I couldn't go right from therapy to like this interview because sometimes therapy's like tra la la, here's what I've done in the past week, and then sometimes therapy's like actual therapy, and so it was like actual therapy, and I was like, oh no, like can't go right to this, so that's why we had to reschedule.
Exceptionally fair. My therapist calls it catching up over coffee. I don't know, the weeks that are just like, here's what I've been up to. And then you have the weeks where like, anyway, my dad committed suicide when I was 18 months old. What's up?
Right. It's like, here's my deepest, darkest shit. Let's talk about it. Wow. Shout out to both of our therapists. Huge shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out to them.
Shout out to them doing the hard work for me at least. I don't know about you.
She's great. We love her.
Yeah. It's bad up here. I'll tell you that much.
But I like to think that I'm probably her favorite patient. So like she's really like stoked to log on to our session because she knows that like I'm going to be doing my little bits and it's going to make her laugh. And we've established that like obviously I'm going to use humor as a defense mechanism, but we've done enough work together that like I'm allowed to make jokes. Like we've gotten past like, don't make jokes because let's talk about your real shit. It's like, oh, now I can do both. So it's very freeing to be able to like do bits, make her LOL, and then we also therapy. Yeah.
How healthy do you think it is? Because I absolutely do this as well, that we actively try to make our therapists laugh.
I think it's a part of life. I literally would not know like how to interact. I had a whole like identity crisis when I was like 22, because I realized that like I wasn't even really able to separate when I was like doing something like as a performance and when something felt like genuine. And so then I had that question that you just asked me, like I kind of like processed that and had that whole freak out. I was like, oh my God, am I just like making a joke all the time? Am I just like performing all the time? What's going on? Can I even separate those two? But then over the past few years, like that identity has kind of like, I don't know, become a little bit more cohesive. And I realized like that is in my nature, is to just like do a bit, make someone laugh, but it's no longer like a compulsive thing. Like I don't have to do it in like every single setting. But it is something that's like that I'm going to do probably. And it's something that's like also, you know, in my toolbox, as therapists like to put it. It's, you know, like if I'm in some sort of situation and I want to like win someone over, if I want to like, you know, make a connection with someone, like the best way I know how to do that is like through humor. Not to get too we're getting into the weeds. You asked me one single question, I'm like, I'll tell you everything there is to know about me.
Exactly what I was hoping for. So this past week, a dear friend of mine's father passed. And so there is a point to the story, I think. I don't know.
Tell me.
And we play this very dumb Marvel game together
Mm-hmm.
with a bunch of other people on like online Who Cares.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I sent him an update where I was like, hey, I opened like 17 gold orbs and I made less than $1 million. I know that's the worst thing you've heard all week.
Yeah.
And that was the first thing I sent to him after his father died.
And maybe that's okay. Like I remember in middle school, a good friend of mine, her dad like suddenly died. And I was 12 and didn't know how to handle it. But my mom basically said like, hey, call her up and like ask her if she wants to have a play date. And I was like, okay. So we like had a bowling play date. And it's like sometimes that's what you need, is like, because you can't be grieving at every single moment. Like you literally just like cannot stay in that state all the time. And so sometimes it's good to have a little levity. Obviously not all the time. And if it's compulsive, then it's bad. And I hope that friend can say to you, hey, I'm actually really not in the mood to make a joke about gold orbs. But I don't think it's an inherently bad thing or unhealthy thing.
I think it went over well.
I
included a message.
Was successful.
Yeah, I included a message of I don't know how to deal with grief.
Yeah.
Just to like really land that it was a bit that I was doing.
Right. Totally.
I don't know what we're talking about anymore.
Sure.
Patience Bitcherton. What an icon.
What an icon. What a queen.
Yeah.
Of my own creation.
Yes. How did you come to Patience? What brought you to Bitcherton in general and many-sided media?
Many-sided media. My good friend Chinook is part of Many-sided Media, and last like November, December, Many-sided Media was doing a tabletop role play game. I think it was about like a Hallmark Christmas. I can't remember exactly what the name was, but I think Chinook suggested me for that. And so then I did that episode with them, and it was really, really fun. And I've listened back to it once or twice, and like I think it is such a funny ep. So that went really well. I had so much fun. We all had so much fun. Basically we all brought it to like a really horny place that like I probably wasn't it wasn't expected to go there, but we had a great time. I think my character deep-throated a champagne flute at one point, and that was a really fun bit for me to do. I was like getting comfortable with that. I was like, we've been recording for 45 minutes. Let me take it there. So that was really fun. And then, when they were trying to, you know, figure out who to ask to be on Bitcherton, they asked me, and I was like, hell yeah, that sounds great. I love Pride and Prejudice, and I have also seen Bridgerton a little bit, so I will do that. And again, I'm pretty much open to whatever anything anyone asks me to do. It's like I'm probably gonna say yes to that.
Yeah.
So that's how I got connected, and then we had a couple like pre-production meetings before doing the pilot to talk about like just like introduce ourselves, like talk to each other, and also figure out like this kind of the basic like story arc of like some plot points that we wanted to hit in the pilot, so we were just like totally winging it. And then we also had, I think, separate little meetings to figure out which characters we all wanted to be. And I think everyone just like had an inkling of who they were inclined towards. And I love Pride and Prejudice. I love the movie with Keira Knightley. I love the portrayal of that mother of Mrs. Bennet. She is so hilarious. She's such an incredible character. And so I did just really like the idea of a mother who's like so obsessed with her children and her husband and her family that whenever anything bad happens, it is like the end of the world for her. So yeah, that's how I landed on Patience. And then we were just like looking up like Regency era names, and I found Patience, and I was like, well, that's perfect for her to be named Patience.
Absolutely perfect. Yes. What I think one of my favorite, I was going to say my favorite, but Katie in the ditch might be my favorite scene from the pilot, but a close second, maybe tied for first, is Esty reading the will.
Yep.
And you reacting to it.
Yep.
Both such brilliant performances. Alex Sonshaw reading the will of just like the
I hate
like,
all women.
The violently misogynistic will.
Yeah.
And your yes-anding of no, this is right. He's right.
Yeah.
Women are bad.
Yeah, so true.
Did you know what the will was going to be beforehand, or was that fully surprise in the moment? I knew Brian had worked on it.
Yeah, I hadn't like heard the exact will or like read the words. I think I knew the gist that it was like whatever I have will be left to this male cousin. But yeah, I was just reacting in real time as Patience. And that's the beauty of improv, baby. It's why I'm so good at the art form. That was all natural. I don't know. Yeah. I feel like in a podcast, and this might be so obvious, but I don't know, dead space and silence is like not something that you want, obviously. And like me coming into this group that like, as far as I know, have like all worked together for the most part. I'm like very much, I don't know. I met them on this project, all of them. So besides like Brian. So we're still, we've only recorded one episode. A part of what I'm really looking forward to is doing more episodes and like getting more into the groove of like how each other plays the game of the scene that we're in, and being able to just like become more comfortable and like build that chemistry. So for the first ep, because I didn't know what people's vibes were in scenes very much, there was a lot of like, if I have any inkling of like space, I'm going to fill it. I'm going to be this larger than life, character personality, especially in the beginning when she's like having an absolute meltdown.
And I mean, obviously, it comes up with a fantastic plan to keep the family together. I mean, obviously, you need Gwendolyn to get married. So, God, what a beautiful choice to have Esty be the old maid at 24, or about to turn 24. Yep. So good.
She's over the hill, as am I. As are we all. So it's too late. Yep.
Yeah. I really enjoyed. It is actually something I was really curious about, because obviously like a lot of the people are from Dropout, hence why I am talking to anyone. I will say, like, when Brian sent me the email, I fully thought it was spam, and I was just like, what is this nonsense? And then
what's going on here?
And I opened it and I was like, oh, how do I talk to all of these people immediately? But yeah, I was curious, like, how was meeting with that crew? I'm assuming they made you feel welcome, because they all seemed to be nice people.
No, they were all super duper mean to me.
Great. Let's rate them in favorite to least favorite.
Yeah. They weren't even gonna let me into like the Riverside link. I felt bullied. I felt ostracized. So I hope that answers your question. No, everyone was great. Everyone is like so funny, and again, it's like we've only done this one episode, so I'm really excited to do more, because like I just want to play. Like I just want to, get to know everyone like as performers, as these characters more. And there's just like so much room. And I think for like, a pilot is sometimes going to be a little like it's not always going to be the smoothest thing. But as kind of a proof of concept and like a jumping off point, it feels really good and really strong. And yeah, so I think we're all just like ready to Ready to keep going. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Donate to the Kickstarter. Back it.
Yeah.
Heyo.
Yeah, I say like everyone I know that's listened to it has really enjoyed it, including myself. I've seen 0 episodes of Bridgerton, so
Don't
like
think you need to. You can pick up on it pretty quick.
Yeah,
It's not rocket science.
Yeah, not like a one-to-one connection or anything. It's just like real basic Regency knowledge, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
By the way, Kickstarter 5678 now. We're just cranking up money while this is happening.
Loving these real-time updates. That's so fun.
Yeah, it's so fun, huh?
That's my favorite part so far is the real-time updates because I don't have it open in front of me, so I could, but I don't.
Yeah. My favorite part is periodically you freeze on my end, so I don't know what you're saying.
Oh, cool. People say that about me on Riverside, and I'm like, my internet's pretty good. I don't know what to do about that.
Well, the beautiful thing about Riverside is it's recording locally, so like
oh my God,
when I go back,
froze.
like you won't be frozen for any of this.
Oh my God.
So like it's gonna be fine.
Wait, you just froze for so
long? Did I immediately
long?
freeze this?
I was answering the question and they were
perfect.
Yeah, that was as if on cue. Really good stuff.
Yeah, this happens a lot during my interviews, and because the fun thing about Riverside is it just keeps recording because it's recording locally. It will we won't be frozen while in the final recording, and so it'll just be us talking over each other, being like, "Oh, now you're frozen."
Yeah,
it's very fun for everyone involved.
Yeah, we're gonna have a great time watching this back. It's gonna slay so hard. Yeah,
seamless. Yeah, what look, we're just going to keep asking Bitcherton questions because we probably should, right? That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
What did draw you to the matriarch of the group? I know you said like you love the Mrs. Bennet, but like of this group, why were you like, no, I'm going to be in charge of these rambunctious
I think
23-year-old and 16
yes, teens, young adults. I think honestly, part of it was like who is left, because I think like Carolyn, Alex, and Katie all gravitated towards their characters of like daughters and cousin, and it was like, okay, dad is dead, he's dropped dead already, someone has to be this matriarch. And so I was like, so I didn't feel super strongly about like being a daughter or being some other, adjacent family member, so it felt like the obvious choice to me. And once I kind of signed up to be matriarch and landed on she's gonna be like so overly dramatic all the time, that feels like that just felt like a fun place for me to drop into as someone. Like I can be, actually I don't know if I'm a dramatic person, I don't know, it depends who you ask, I suppose, but it just like it feels like a really fun opportunity to just like be so big and so ridiculous and then like pull it back at other times. So yeah, and I there's a whole thing online about like if you're the oldest daughter, then like blah blah blah, then this is how you are. And I think technically I'm oldest daughter because I'm middle child of 3 and I have 2 brothers, so there is no other daughter.
Yeah, but
I'm also oldest one, so I guess I have some kind of like inclination towards matriarchy. I don't know. Sure, let's go with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah, I say one of the things that I love about the podcast is that some people, like you, doing fantastic accent work.
Trying.
Some people, like Katie, not even a bit.
Not even trying even a little bit. And I think we also talked about that because I think before we even started recording, someone was like, wait, are we supposed to do accents? And I think the vibe was like, if you want to, go for it. If you don't want to, that's absolutely fine. And I, famously do like at least trying accents. And I used to watch a lot of those like old like accent videos on YouTube of like this woman, Amy Walker. I still remember because she would just go, "Hello, I'm Amy Walker," and like do it in a million different accents. So I was always kind of like fascinated by that and just like drawn to that. So I was like, if there's an opportunity for me to like do an old timey British accent, I'm gonna do it. And no, I'm not open to feedback from any Brits who might be listening. Do not tell me I'm doing it wrong. I do not claim to be good at it.
Yeah, it was so funny when Katie started and said she was from Bath. I actually Googled, is there like like, is there a bath not in England? I was like, nope, it's the only one. Got
Nope,
it. We're
that's it.
we're
Yep.
choosing not an accent.
We're going
Perfect.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It makes it, I don't know, somehow funnier that like
somehow funnier. Violet's this like outsider already to the family, and she's so like awkward and, you know, just like doesn't get it. So like there should be a kind of disconnect. And even like Alex, who's not doing, you know, an intense British accent, is kind of like, you know, speaking in a maybe a slightly more proper way. So I think there is this like automatic separation that Violet creates because she is not doing an accent.
Yeah, it made for such a fun dynamic right out the gate. Albeit a slightly confusing one.
Sure.
But
heard.
Yeah. But also, again, I'm not giving feedback or notes here.
Great.
Love it. I have no notes.
Thank you.
It's brilliant and perfect.
Thank you.
Question about accents for you.
Sure.
When you hear them on like TV, do you mimic them back like a parrot? Because I do that.
Yeah, Love Island is like a big one.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you watch Love Island for the accents a lot of the time. Yeah, some are like really hard to do though. Some I like absolutely can't take on. And then there's some that like always devolve. For some reason, like I'll devolve into like Irish from a lot of other ones, and my Irish friends do not think my accent is good. So again, not open the feedback there. But yeah, no, I've always liked to mimic. Oh, and I had a boss at an old job who was French, and I got really good at imitating him. Never did it to his face, but maybe I should because I don't work there anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just send him a voice note.
Yeah, I'll just show up at the old job and be like, "Hey, it's me. I'm here to visit. Cassie, you are doing?" There's a lot of that. Shout out to that guy.
Yeah, very delightful. I got to play in a charity stream last weekend. Who knows what time is? And the character that I was assigned, picked whatever. One of the like 3 descriptors was French parentheses derogatory, and I was like,
exactly.
hell yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, absolutely. I will do anything you ask me to. Yeah, just hop right into that. Pepe Le Pew vibes.
But it's delightfully fun. Yeah, I don't know that my wife loves that I can't help myself sometimes, but like, look, like we're watching Bake Off, and I'm just like, I can't not repeat back the thing.
That is
like,
compulsive.
Yeah.
Sounds like she needs to get on board because that's how it's going to be forever.
It is how it's going to be forever. She's stuck with me. We have a 3-year-old. She's got nowhere to go.
We're locked in. We are locked in. My notes also, if you see me looking down very confused, it's because my notes are just a like jumbled mess of nothing. Great.
And so I have the words, what do you like, not like?
Nice.
And I was like, I don't know what that means.
Sure.
But then on the next line, it says about Regency. So like there was an end to the thought. I just didn't put it on the same line, which made it very confusing for me.
I'm
just
impressed
general,
that you
just
have
a general like, what do you like and not like?
What do you like and what do you hate, would you say? And feel about, and could be this also as well. That's a good question. No, let's write that one down. So what do I like and not like about Regency?
Sure. Are you a hand flex girly? Is that
big time. I mean, I like really I love the Pride and Prejudice movie. And don't tell my mom, but I still have not read Pride and Prejudice, the book, but I will sometime. I think, okay, we talked about this recently too. I really like the dynamic of being like this embarrassing, overbearing parent, because that can be such a universal theme. You know, who hasn't been embarrassed by their parents at one time or another? And I like that this theme is already present in the show. But like, because that's the way it has to be, because that's all she has to care about. That is all Patience has to worry about. And I really felt that with Mrs. Bennet from Pride and Prejudice, is like, at the end of the movie, she's married off 3 of her 5 daughters. Like, those are pretty good statistics. And like, she is like, yeah, she's crazy and she's got a lot of like, you know, oh, my nerves. Like, she's so dramatic, but it's like, if you don't marry off your daughters to wealthy dudes, like, you're not in a good spot. And so she like she should be worried about that. And that's why she is. So I think I like the element of like, I don't know, taking all this drama, but there's a slightly more weight behind it. And obviously this is a fictional podcast and it's a comedy podcast, so it's not real. But I like being able to play in that space, I suppose.
Yeah, it's super, super fun. I had I did have a thought.
Congrats.
I have thoughts.
Honestly,
thank
yeah,
you.
that's huge.
One of the things that I really liked about the show was, and I talked to Brian a bit about this, about, there is Miss Big Withers, right? Yes. The reveal at the end of who she is, I think, is really clever for the show, because now moving forward, it's not a mystery for the audience of like, oh, who is Miss Big Withers? It is now a moment of like, oh, you're in the room with Miss Big Withers and you don't know it.
Yeah.
You fucked up. Like, you gave a secret away that you should not have given away.
Yeah.
I don't. There isn't a question here.
There's
so
no
do you
question,
want to just say
but
things?
I can run with it. Sure.
Great. Thanks.
Yeah. I mean, that becomes involved in like the game of each scene now. It's like we've established this parameter now, this element of, we don't know who Lady Big Wither is, but the audience sure does. And so there's a lot of room in there to like create tension and drama. And having the audience in on this secret, I think it's a really nice thing, especially when this whole thing is improvised and oftentimes like we don't even know where it's going. And so I think that also can like ground the listeners as well. I feel like I'm being eloquent. Like I feel like that was pretty
crushed it.
Thank you.
Like,
oh my god.
This is as you would say, slay. I'm not allowed to because I'm 40 years old.
Yeah. That's a microaggression, actually, you saying
God.
slay.
I'm 41. That's
bummer.
unfortunate. I've been saying 40 for almost a year. Well, a little over a year, I guess, because wasn't. Anyway, there's no point to that.
When's your birthday?
May 9.
I'm May 26th. Congrats on having a May birthday.
Thank you. It's very exciting.
Yep.
The vicar. So good. A horny vicar who doesn't love it. And you cast Iffy Wadiway in a role, it's going to be some level of horny, just a question of how much.
Sure.
I will say that one of the things that I think would be very funny is when I talked to Brian, we talked about like stretch goals for the Kickstarter, and he said that if you make $1 million, he's going to make you do a TV show of it.
Sure.
I want to see Iffy play Brian's dad. For the pure comedy of the two of them, probably roughly the same age, right?
Sure.
And we'll say not a great deal of physical similarity.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Yeah. But what are your thoughts on Bitcherton, the TV show?
Perfect casting. Again, if anyone wants to make anything and put me in it, let me know. If we make $1 million, we should totally make a TV show, and I think that would be so fun. To bring these voices to life. A lot of my favorite pods, I don't watch the things that they record in the room, like necessarily like the full episodes, but I like seeing the clips and be like, wait, ooh, that's what you look like, and remembering that. And it would be so fun to do like stupid costumes and everything. So I'm into it. I'm into that idea.
I love it.
I will back it.
It would be super fun. Yeah, great. You'll back, not like actually, because
I won't give money
to
it.
Financially,
don't get me wrong. But yeah,
yes,
correct.
You
emotionally,
metaphysically, yes,
I'll back it.
Fully understand. Yeah. He also said, Brian said he would fly me out for the premiere for $1 million because you'll have an actual like live premiere. So that's what I'm hoping for. It's gonna
be Spirit though, and you're gonna be in the last row. So because even if we have a budget, it's like. What are we really going to be spending our money on? Well, we'll use points to get you on Spirit.
Perfect.
And that's what I can promise you.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries.
Look, then I'll just make content about it.
Yeah,
and,
you'll make your money back. It'll be fine.
Yeah, easy. I don't know what happened to this interview.
I think it went great. I think it's perfect. We can. Great. I mean, if you want to stretch it another 25 minutes, I would be a little nervous about that, but yeah, I think this is fine and good.
You know what I'm not going to do? Edit any of this out.
Good. Perfect.
You should. This is going to be let's say, obviously, folks want to back the Kickstarter, Bitcherton.com, or search for Bitcherton on the Kickstarter website.
Sure.
That's there wasn't a question there. That was just the end of that sentence.
Let's say they wanted to do that.
Yeah, let's say they wanted to do that. Why should someone back Bitcherton
Great
and
question.
get you $30,000?
Well, okay. I think people like being able to curate what they listen to, right? And like I think there's so much of siloing different tastes and you consume what the algorithm gives you. And so I think this gives people a little bit of agency in terms of like, yes, I want to listen to this, so I want this to exist, so I will give you $10, $20, $100 to make this. So I think like if you're interested in, you know, helping create media that you want to consume, that's a great way to do it. And also like if you're into Regency era, but you see also the comedy in it, like we also very much see the comedy in it. So we want to bring that. You know, obviously it's like popping off with Bridgerton right now. Just the Regency theme in general. So if you're looking for more of that, but in a funny way, do it. And also it's a great way to support some of your favorite comedians. And I'm adding myself to that list. Yeah, I'm assuming I'm someone's favorite comedian. And Definitely. That's how it should be, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And also, it'll help pay for your health insurance. And that's a good thing.
Well, here's the thing, man. I have a full-time job, but I don't want to have that forever. But the main reason I have a full-time job is because I need health insurance. So if we get so much money from this Bitcherton Kickstarter that I can get health insurance, that's a huge win for me.
Huge win.
My days will free right up.
Yeah, one of the big selling points, because like $30,000 does sound like a lot of money, understandably so, because it is. But the big selling point, paying SAG rates to the actors, the brilliant comedians like yourself. I pointed the wrong way, at least on my screen. Who knows what it'll look like in the edit?
I think it looked good on my side, so that's great.
Great. I universally have never pointed the right way on one of these.
I'd actually be more concerned if you did point the right way, because then you'd be too in the weeds, you know, worried about the wrong things.
Fair. Yeah, I need to focus probably more on note taking.
Sure.
This is what it looks like. It is nonsense.
That's great stuff. I don't know what you're talking about. Really good job.
I did write down rank favorite to least favorite, because I was like, it would be funny if we got to that, and we got there naturally. We got there organically. It's very nice.
They're all least favorite.
Yes, all least favorite. Paying SAG rates, getting insurance. If people want to join SAG, that's going to help them get into SAG. It's all very good things and good reasons to back a Kickstarter, let alone the project on top of it that's very funny and delightful. Speaking of, 5753 is where we are currently sitting. Wow. I think that's more than the last time I refreshed.
I think so. Definitely.
We're just making money. It's me and you talking about it that's making money.
Yeah.
Even though this is not live and no one can see this.
They're listening live. Don't know what you mean. I'm actually streaming this on my end, so hope that's cool.
Riverside just started a new feature that says you're not live streaming, because there's a way to live stream on Riverside, and now it just says like live streaming off at the top. And finally, because I live stream periodically and I'm terrified I'm not going to turn it off and just like broadcast one of these on accident, and get a moment where someone's like, hey, could you cut out the thing I said? And I'm just on Twitch sharing it.
Sorry, I was really homophobic just now. Can you cut that out? Yeah, classic.
That is what a lot of the people I talk to it happens. I have to cut out a lot of homophobia.
Yeah, left and right, I'm sure.
Cassie, this has been amazing. Let's say folks wanted to go listen to your brilliant accent work on the various social medias. Where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram.com/Cast the Rock Wilson. You can also find me on a little website called TikTok.com/ I don't know if that's actually what the links are. It is Cast the Rock Wilson. And Wilson has 2 L's. That one you need an
@ symbol after the slash.
If you also just Google Cassie Willson with 2 L's, I will pop up. Honestly, if you Google Wilson with 1 L, it'll probably still come up, because the algorithm has learned by now that no one knows how to spell my name.
It does, because I misspelled it. Apologies.
Yeah, that's all right. It happens literally all the time.
Eventually.
Yeah.
It took me a little time. Where did, to close out, The Rock as part of your name?
Man,
is there an origin story to that?
I made an Instagram.com account when I was 19 years old, and I had to choose a username, and I thought about it for about 15 seconds, and I was like, oh, Cassie Rock Wilson, that's funny. I kind of regret it a little bit, because now people I don't know will just like call me Cass, and like that's like a nickname that you gotta like earn a little, not earn, but it's like we're not there yet, you know, when it's like a complete stranger. So I don't actually like when people call me Cass in public. So I'm thinking about changing it to just Cassie _ Wilson, but I'll probably just keep it like that forever. So
Yeah.
It's just a stupid thing
just
that I
change
thought
it
of.
to The Rock _ Wilson.
Just The Rock.
Problem solved.
Yeah. No copyright
Amazing.
there, anything like that. Mm-hmm.
Well, Cassie, not Cass.
Thank you.
Because I'm not there yet, I know.
Right.
But
should I call you
close.
Jordy? Is that good?
That's perfect.
Great.
It's my
awesome.
my favorite of the permutations of my name.
Good. I figured. I could picked up on that vibe really quick.
Bitcherton 5803.
Wow. Climbing all the time.
By the time I hit stop recording, it's for sure going to be at the 30,000.
Yeah.
Which is going to be right now.
Yep.
So thank you so much. This has been absolutely delightful.
Thanks for having me on whatever this is.
Yes. Perfect.
Perfect.